Tonight's talk is Inside the Minds of Buyers, featuring Alex Lucero of Green Solutions, GT Goins of Two Rivers Wellness, and Chelsea Cordoba of Mountain High Recreation. So thank you all for being here. We're going to be passing the microphone around, that way we make sure we get every awesome nugget that you want to give to us tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking with our industry buyers about what they look for when they make purchases for their retail operations. And I think that this is something that all of us could stand to talk about and to learn about from each other, because all of our operations have similarities but a lot of differences. And that's what's really beautiful about this industry, how we get to serve our communities. So I'm actually just going to pass the microphone around and ask you each if you would answer. Would you please tell us and describe your average current customer that you see either in your store or that you get to deliver to?
Well, I guess the first of all, the average customer that we get into our stores is, most of them are price conscientious. So they're thinking about long term. This is supposed to be a sustainable substance for a treatment or a disability. And because of that, we want to try to provide the most sustainable way for them to continue to medicate this way.
Absolutely.
I would say the target demographic at our establishment is 9 to 5ers. It's a lot of state workers as we're up the street from the state capitol. It's a lot of veterans, a lot of regular folk. And then as Alex stated, also very price conscientious.
Cool.
And also very health oriented, not so much people wanting it stoned, but people who actually benefit, from the use of cannabis.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi. We're a little bit different in the aspect that we're a delivery company and we service 92% of California. So our demographic is very widespread, from those who just want to get high to those 50 and older patients who are really using it for medicinal purposes. So we just try to carry a broad menu that can really service everywhere in between, but along the way always making sure that we're price conscious to keep up with the black market.
Awesome. Hold on to the mic down there. We're going to pass it back down now. Would you mind going a little bit more into depth? Are you seeing more women, more men, age-wise? What are you seeing kind of average? And also, what does the average customer spend per visit or per order?
So our average ticket price is around $133. What we are seeing traditionally, what we've had in the past over the years, has always been about a 60-40% male demographic, being the male. However, what I'm calling them the weed moms, who are converting from wine moms, are now coming on the market and wanting to try things out. So it's really booming for us right now.
Awesome. Thank you.
As for the demographic at our dispensary, we have a lot of vets. That's like I said before. They usually run anywhere from 20s all the way up. We also do get a lot of middle-class individuals. We get a lot of people from around the community. I don't know how familiar people are with Richards Boulevard, but it's a little different. I'd say our average sales level anywhere from, well, actually it depends.
Yeah.
It really depends.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Like I said, we do have homeless folks coming, so they're a little bit, they need compassion care. They need things that are actually affordable. But then we have people who come in from parts of the town like Granite Bay who are affluent and come in and spend $120. But we always try to keep something for everybody, whether it be $5 or $100. I just want to make sure that as many people have access to it as possible.
Thank you for that.
As far as a new demographic that I've seen, growing in the community, it's a lot of, in my store, the elderly. Baby boomers are now experiencing something that they haven't had access to for over 30 years. Not to mention the research that we've done has been on hold. So that is my major, surprise to the new recreational community. As far as a ticket sale, like you mentioned, it's varying depending on what day they come in. Weekends, people tend to spend a little bit more. On average, Monday to Friday, people spend a little bit less because they're just trying to get by. And then that's the idea of the company, is to keep it available to as many people as possible without having to hurt their monthly budgets or expenditures.
Awesome. I love hearing about just the varying ages. It actually really inspires me because I remember not too long ago that we couldn't even talk about our parents, never mind our grandparents. And now it's like my granny's wanted to go in there on her own, you know? So let's actually talk about that just for a second. As far as packaging, right? Especially with our elder community, what are they looking for? Are you taking that into consideration? How, you know, the ease of access to the actual medicine? Because I think, I don't know, has anybody in this room, raise your hand if you ever struggled to open some packaging in here? So the whole room, okay. So it's not just me and I wasn't just stoned, okay. Thank God. You know, but why don't you tell us a little bit about what you look for, and we're gonna get deeper into this in our next segment, but I do wanna just touch on it. What are you looking for? What are your customers looking for when they are shopping? What do they comment on?
Well, I think the first thing that is kind of a dead bolt for everything is state compliance. They have to be child-proof. And because of that, different people have a different setup based off of the manufacturing that they're getting. And yes, some of them are a lot harder than others to use, but it doesn't make it able for a normal person with standard uses of their extremities to go and operate. That's true.
Mostly what I look for when it comes to like ease with opening product is clarity. Like how clear is it on how I can open this? Like, do I hold two tabs? Do I squeeze it on the side? Do I gotta push and pull at the same time? I just look for clarity. And I believe that's what most people look for in a product. Like they do want to get their medicine, but they also want to know how to get it. They don't want to have to like struggle and tear the box open or, you know what I'm saying, cut their hands on some plastic. So that's really what we look for.
So in addition to what they mentioned, one thing that's important to us when we're stocking our shelves across our menu is making sure that there's visibility in the product. Our customers want to be able to view the flower and not just in a black Mylar bag off of pictures. So that's an important aspect for us.
Okay, press it back down. Choo-choo train somewhere in here. Awesome. Thank you for that. That's actually really insightful because I never have thought of that. I also have a delivery service, but with my particular model with Lucky Box Club, we are a subscription service. So really, we choose all the products for people, but it is my responsibility to think about what people want or what they're looking for. So we are going to do a quick round of quick fire questions, and we're not even going to pass the mic. We're just going to ask you guys to say it really loud. And I'm going to give you two options or ask you a question, and you just say which one resonates with your customers and or with yourself, okay? So first, and we'll go down, and then we'll come back up each way like that, okay? So first, THC or CBD?
THC.
Both.
Okay.
THC.
Nice.
Edibles or vapes?
Both.
Vapes.
Vapes.
Flowers or pre-rolls?
Flowers and pre-rolls.
Both.
Yeah, that's about even.
Flowers.
What's your favorite strain?
Snowcat.
Snowcat. GDP.
Okay.
OG.
Who's your favorite famous stoner?
Yeah, I guess I'll go with the obvious Snoop Dogg.
Great man and method man.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg.
I love it. All right, cool, guys. Well, thank you for your input. We're going to go deeper into this in just a moment, but for now, we're going to take a quick break. All right, cool. Hello, and welcome back to the Urban Exchange. Joining us on stage, we still have Alex Lucero, GT Goins, and Chelsea Cordoba. All right, panel. So we've talked about your customers. Now let's talk about you and your buying decisions. Or should I say your buying power? And who in the room, I'm just curious, who in the room either works in sales or distribution? Oh, cool, lots of you. Yeah, so you are speaking directly to the people who want to learn, right? So I'm gonna encourage you to not hold back, although I'm gonna ask some hard questions here. Hard for them, maybe not for you. We'll start off with an easy one. What do you look for in a brand when making a purchase? Is price point really most important, or are there other things that inform your purchasing decisions?
Well, for me, honestly, it's the quality of your product. Price point does matter, but that's based off of the time of your product. When it comes in through our doors, it's very different based off of what week it is, or what time it is, or what kind of sales we've had. So continue to provide the top quality product, represent the top quality product out there that you feel that we can buy.
I will say that to a degree, price does matter. If you can justifiably, market it, or if you can sell it to me for that price, if you can make me understand why I'm paying what I'm paying for it, and there's also a need for it, then we can talk.
So for me, I have a big list that I go through before we decide to put a brand on our menu. And there's a lot of things that go into it, not only price, but brand notoriety and how present they are, whether or not they embody the type of culture that my company wants to sell and put forth. And what I mean by that is if I go on their Instagram page and there's a bunch of girls in bikinis showing their pictures of their carts, I may not hit that over an OG just smoking out in the woods. So that's what we look at.
We'll have another microphone at the next one. So with that being said, celebrity brands. Let's take a moment to talk about this. Look at GT's face. That says everything. Let's talk about it. Tell me what your thoughts are. I actually wrote here, does it really matter? Do you really want to carry celebrity brands because there is a celebrity's name on it? If so, do you hold it to a higher standard? What are your thoughts on this? It's becoming a trend, as we are seeing nowadays.
You're right, it really has become a trend. A lot more celebrities are going into the community. Honestly, it doesn't matter whether you're a celebrity or not. The quality of your product stands for itself. It doesn't matter who's standing behind it, because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's the consumers. It's not the people who are profiting from this. It's the consumers. This is a holistic and healing industry, and a lot of people try to profit from it, but that's not where we're at here. The people that revive this service.
Okay, and let me add on to that, how you guys answer this. Are people buying products just because it's a celebrity brand? Do you think so?
Don't get me wrong, there is a certain amount of hype behind it, but it doesn't take more than one time to get burned to realize that you want to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Alex and no, it does not matter. Just like their celebrities in their respective fields, that's cool, but I'm more likely to trust a brand that has qualified and tenured and weathered growers. You know what I mean? I need to, the people up in the hills have been going for decades. I'm more likely to support their brand than any rapper, because I've never seen a rapper grow a plant. But I have watched them with not much.
I think it's a mixed cause. I have a brand partnership with Dr. Green Thumb and one of my ventures and businesses that I go out on. And so I think someone like him, who's been in the industry a while, knows what he's talking about, versus a celebrity who's just out there putting their name on something. So there's a distinction there. But ultimately, customers don't really care, I think. I mean, it will maybe draw them to the first purchase, but I don't think it will draw them to the second.
I just heard a comment. I'm learning all kinds of shh right now. I love it. And so let's get into a little bit more of this nitty gritty, right? So, what are some of the worst branding mistakes you have seen? I'm gonna give you guys a minute to think about it. Although Alex is like he's got it already figured out. But we want to hear about it. And I'm also gonna add on to that. What's some of the worst pitch tactics that you've also seen? Because it kind of goes hand in hand sometimes. The pitch can ruin the product can ruin the pitch. So let's hear about it.
Well, first of all of your pitches are individuals, and you're unique behind your individual pitch. It's based off of your personality and who you are. That's one of the worst mistakes I've seen on a branding is curse words. Why would you put curse words on a product that is available to the community? And this in particular product targeted the police. So it was a double balancing.
I haven't seen it on the market.
I'd say some of the worst pitches are ones that, I hate to say, attack my integrity, things that talk about, you know what I mean? Things that you can sell me, or you can, you know what I'm saying? Basically, not pay me in, but you know what I'm saying? Draw me in with, promises of things or anything like that. I don't need promises, I need product. You know what I mean? I don't need to go to a show. I don't need to do anything, I need product. And it seems like sometimes people think that if they, grease the wheel a little bit, or, offer, and it's if I'll give you this if you pick up our product, that's not gonna get you anywhere. And I believe that is the worst type of pitch I've gotten. And it honestly, it can I cuss?
Yeah.
It shits on the integrity of everybody who works in the industry. You know what I'm saying? I believe most people, especially most people in this room, are pretty honest people. We have the same goal.
As far as the worst branding of product, I'm a mom, so I don't like stuff that targets children, especially edibles, big bright characters, things like that. We've gotten swag that, my kids like to wear the lanyards because they think it's a kid's thing. But so that's a hot item for me. The worst pitch, I cannot stand when people will call us and ask for something. Oh, do you carry this on your menu? Oh, you don't? Okay, darn, okay. And then literally within 20 minutes, we get an email or another call saying, hey, I got a call saying, you need this product on your menu. Yeah, you see how it's named and it's the same number, so no.
Oh, man.
So that's an interesting tactic. Everyone's got to hustle, you guys. So, GT, thank you for opening this up because I was going to ask this is the next question. Let's talk about payola. Has anybody heard of this term payola? Raise your hand if you've heard of it. All right. And how about slotting fees? Less people have heard of slotting fees, more payola. So I'm going to clarify at least with what my understanding has been thus far from what I've heard from my resources. Payola is when brands are essentially offering to pay you, or by you I mean a company, a retailer, to carry their products. And quite often it also comes with somewhat of an agreement to not carry another brand's products. And it's fascinating, it's horrifying, and in my opinion, it just is completely against any type of integrity. But that's my own view, and I would dare to say of the Urban Exchange as well. But we want to, create community, and by doing that, you're actually really shooting other people in the foot. It's becoming really big. And then slotting fees are the fees that the stores are charging to the brands in order to carry that brand. And so it's kind of going both ways these days. So I'm going to open it up to both sides. What have you heard? If you want to talk about it, what is your stance or your establishment's stance on it? And is this going away, or what are we doing? Is the industry going to feed it? Tell us.
Honestly, I don't feel that pay-to-play is the proper way to get into any kind of retail store. It questions the integrity of the product right off the jump. Now, with that being said, there are certain, promotions available to retail shops that have, slower moving items that they really don't have any loyalty to. So to be able to rotate a product is also beneficial, but to pay for a non-competition clause, that's above and beyond.
Okay, I'll ask, okay, we have vendors in the audience, right? How many vendors in here believe in the product that they push? So then you don't have to pay, you don't have to pay me to carry it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's worth carrying, right?
Do I?
But my point is, every one of you raised your hand. So if you believe in your product that much, you shouldn't have to pay me to carry your product. You should be able to sell me on your product. You should be able to make me believe what you believe in your product. Like paying ain't gonna do nothing. And honestly, slotting fees, get out of here.
All right.
Get out of here.
Good.
So, being a delivery service, we don't really get slotting fees. However, we carry a lot of big brands on our menu who I know 100% pay slotting fees in other dispensaries. So, do I think it's right? No. Do I use it to my advantage to get a better price point on my menu? Yes. I'm just being honest. That's how I see it happening. As far as payola, I have had brands approach me. That's not something that we're interested in doing because I want to make sure that we always have 100% control of the brands that we carry on our menu.
All right, you guys. So we're going to take a quick break again, but when we come back, we're going to continue with a conversation about sales pitches again and how to get in front of the buyers. What the appropriate way is to do that, and onto the shelves. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back to delve into the minds of our buyers here on the Urban Exchange stage. But before we continue our conversation, we want to give a brief shout out and thank you to our sponsors one more time. NorCal Cannabis Company's in the back. We have Marley Natural, Lucky Box Club, and we also have the Tree Harvest Festival that's here to hook us up with some free tickets. So we're doing a giveaway of a 4-pack of tickets, so you guys are aware. There's two sets of 4-packs. One way to enter is to put your business card in the Lucky Box Club. There's a little raffle drum. And the other way is to enter your email on there and sign up. So be sure to check them out because it is a local family-run festival. It's their first time. I think it's important to, once again, support each other. So that's what we're trying to do. So panel, thus far we've gone over your customers and what you look for in the products and brands that you stock on your shelves. So let's talk about how these products actually get there, which is mainly through sales reps, right? We talked a lot about those meetings that we get. So let's talk about how to successfully get these brands and products on your shelves. First off, what is the perfect pitch and what does it look like? Communication, communication style, meeting, all of it.
Well, there is no such thing as a perfect pitch. You guys are individuals. I want to see you as an individual representing the company. And the more I get to see you, the better I get to understand how much you believe in the company that you represent. So there is no such thing as a perfect pitch. Keep up, what your individuality allows you to be as a salesman.
I would say that the perfect pitch is one where the vendor comes across very confident, as I stated earlier, in their product. One that believes in their product. One that can sell me the ideals of their product. Like, what is the mission statement of your product, and are you purveying that? You know what I mean? Are you really, selling me the product because you believe in it, or you just trying to go on sale? And that really matters.
For me, it obviously is going to be whether or not you stand behind the brand that you sell, as well as your communication style. want to know that you're reachable when I need an order, and direct. I don't need any of the sales extras. I don't need any of the fluff. I just want direct honesty and availability.
Do I have any other buyers in the room? Any other buyers at all? Oh, we got a few of them. Okay, cool. How many times have you heard, I've got the best weed? Just kidding, you can keep that one to yourself because I'm sure it's been more than you can count. Now, are there any assets or outreach strategies that were effective in getting you to purchase? So maybe it is informational pamphlets or collateral or swag that helps these things to get off the shelves, especially for storefronts. Although the deliveries, sometimes it's nice to throw in some extras that, that people can really appreciate. Is there anything that the brands have created that you remember that stick out to you?
Well, most of the time you guys have the backing of your company. And because of that, that allows you to have a little bit more assurance now to what's the length. Are you allowed to stretch that out? That's totally up to you and your company. But the people who are most involved in the store, with the people, they notice your product. It's that simple. If you're there and you give them more information about your product, they're going to want to buy it. It's that simple.
I'd say one of the biggest assets would be the willingness to not only educate the staff on your product, because it's easy to just say that it's weed, but can you tell me where it came from? Can you tell me the source? Can you tell me, where it was grown, who grew it? Can you, really tell me about the product, and then can you tell them, can you tell the customers about it? How well can you inform them? Because if people are informed about the product, they're way more likely to use it. And once they're, satisfied with it, once they're way more likely to be a repeat customer, and that benefits everybody involved.
As far as swag goes in a delivery service, it's not something that we necessarily give out to customers a lot. It's hard to get to them. The most successful swag that we get is one that is directed at our employees, our drivers. So you have samples that you want to give us to our drivers. If you have enough t-shirts for them, they're going to be wearing those lanyards and those t-shirts as they're doing deliveries and represent that product itself to the customers. So in my opinion, that's the best way to get it out there.
So when it comes to communication with your reps, so let's actually start before they become your rep, before you take on the brand, right? So it's still in consideration, because I'm sure we've all had the meetings where we're not completely sold on it yet, or maybe we're not ready to put an order in because we still got a lot of inventory to go through, right? So how often should brands reach out to follow up with you? And by that, I really mean is, how often is too often to reach out to you?
I come from a very different type of sales background, which is telemarketing. You get hundreds of thousands of no's. Yes, it's going to happen to you guys. But the more you're willing to come back, represent your company, have that fresh spirit, that's what keeps you coming back. That's what opens the door for you. Today might not be your day. It doesn't mean tomorrow's not.
I would just say, I would say stop in once. I'd say call me, email me. So, we get hundreds of emails every week. I sit down with at least 50 vendors every week. It's going to be hard to distinguish sometimes. And really, those who actually stay persistent, a lot of people know they've dealt with me before. And you keep reminding me of something that I talked about and said that we're going to pick up or that we'll entertain, I'm way more likely to pick you up.
If I said no in the past after a phone call or an email, at that point maybe a monthly check-in, or anytime you have something new on your menu or a sale or a promotion going on that may be appetizing for me to reconsider adding you to our menu at that time.
And I will also speak for us on this end, because we're also getting pummeled by people all the time. don't hit me up more than once a week. You can go to their stores, but don't hit me up more than once a week because my email and because also we don't have a storefront for them to come into. So delivery services, it's really hard because we have people calling us, texting us, and also going through our website, sometimes through the web portal, the contact us button on the website. They go to the Instagram, they go everywhere to the Facebook page, and I think that that's great if you're really resourceful, but there is such thing as too much.
It does work if you place an order.
It does. It does. And then, you know, starting to wrap up here, is there any advice that you can offer to the sales reps who may be frustrated in trying to get a meeting? Sometimes it's that first meeting that's really hard. So what's the best way, at least with your stores, and what type of advice would you give to them?
If you're in a meeting, it's very simple. Just follow the basic protocols. Drop off some information, maybe call in once, and then let it go, because we will contact you back if it's a good fit for us. You don't have to bombard us, like she was saying. We will contact you. We have the information in front of us. It's not going to happen.
I would say, first and foremost, show your face. You know, let me, and even let my staff know who, you know, we may, you know, engage in a business relationship with. You know, make yourself visible. You know what I'm saying? Come prepared. Cards, menus, pricing is always optimal. You know, before you leave, make sure you ask for either my number or my email. I will give you both 100% of the time. You know. And then after that, I guess it would become a waiting game. Like I said, we get a bunch of different vendors every week, and we carry hundreds of products. So it can get a little bit, you know, yeah, slow.
Yeah, being a delivery service, I know you guys can't walk in and see me, so I'm getting a lot of emails and fielding those. I've had some successful reps who have placed an order just to get through to us and kick the sample that way. However, you know, it's kind of funny. But it was creative enough that I brought them on our menu. You know, ultimately it's just going to come down to information. I want to see menu, I want to see price point, and I want to see that you are, you know, following through on the brand that you represent and that it matches the needs of our customers.
You can hold on to the microphone. That is it for the questions that I have received from people online or that we came up with, and we'd like to open it up to Q&A for anybody that's in the room. So are there any hard-pressing questions that are out there right now? I see a hand in the back. Oh, I see a hand right here in front. Go ahead, Sonny.
In the attempts to break through the endless walls of emails, what subject lines and or openings matter to you? We all want to know.
So, can you repeat that question? That way we get on the mic.
She wants to know, and as far as getting through to emails, what subject line will make us view it and open it versus delete it?
Yes.
Buy one, get one free.
Great.
Such a good answer.
Otherwise known as BOGO.
Thank you very much.
I would say, first of all, have a professional email name. I don't want to hear the Disruptor 916.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Yeah, just, you know what I'm saying? Professional email. It doesn't take long. First name, last name, whatever, and then whatever company you're from. And like she said, maybe some deals you might have on it, but that's really what's important. Because if you give me a professional email, I know who I already know your dude who came in earlier from whatever flower company offering this. Just be clear.
Like she mentioned earlier, I do like to see the promotions off the top. It is a daunting task to go through all the emails that we have. And yes, if you can make it a little bit simpler for me, that does help when you click on it. But it doesn't mean I'm going to call you.
Awesome, thank you.
Any other questions out there?
What's new and exciting on the market right now?
Oh, yeah.
So what's new on the market right now that I feel is going to be a new wave is what the question was, and I feel drinkables are. There's enough companies now that are applying themselves to drinkable edibles. It has better bioavailability. Something like that. The point is, you get stoned a lot quicker. And it's not too much. It's a pleasant high, and I think more people that come, into this access of it. Now, I'm a bartender by trade. I love the idea of mixing marijuana cocktails.
I had a vendor stop by and drop off an interesting product. It's called is it the Omura? Omura? Yeah, that thing it's cool. That's dope. It's like a pocket. Y'all know box vapes, where you would get have the box and warm up to 500 degrees. You got the little glow. Yeah. It's like one of those, but they streamlined it to where it's handheld and the parts on it are degradable. So you can hit it till the flower is gone. And then even if you were to not saying you should litter is bad.
Appropriately disposed.
But it'll break down. You know what I mean? It's not gonna chuck a turban out. You know what I'm saying?
What's new in selling that's popular right now is medicinal lotions, bath bombs, lubes, and creams. So, those are pretty popular right now.
Cool, awesome. Any other, yes, go ahead, JJ.
Is there any challenge or hurdle that you've kind of seen common in the industry that you've recently overcome or had success at? Is there any challenge or hurdle that you've seen kind of common in the industry that you've had success at recently?
Any challenge that we've seen across the industry that we've had to overcome recently? Obviously, we all compete with the black market. Prices are an issue. Packaging of flour, what I mean by that is quantity that you're packaging. Not everybody wants eighths, people. Black market sells ounces, people want ounces. So ounces are starting to come back on the menu from distributors, but we need more.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have to say prices as well. We are competing with, the black market where you can get eighths for as low as 15, 10.
Yeah.
And it's actually some quality shit, So I that is a problem. I'm not trying to exactly fix. But having to compete with, a market that basically can set the bar as low as they want is a challenge. How can I get people to not go up the street and buy, weed from the local tree man, but to come to us? You know what I'm saying? Maybe spend a little bit more, but you know where it came from. You're not gonna get sick off it. It's safe. You know what I'm saying? There, no dolphins were harmed in the making of this weed.
I guess one of the largest hurdles is the new regulations. There's a lot of movement by the state board. Things move left, things move right. The biggest hurdle is dealing with these changes. What is now legal is not legal. What was phase 3 is now becoming phase 4. There's a lot of things to follow up on. And mostly you gotta make sure that you guys are forward in knowing the litigations that are being set forward. Because if you don't understand those things, that's gonna hurt your product and its sales at the end of the day.
Cool, yeah. Awesome.
So we have time for one last question. I see a hand right there, so go ahead and speak up for us, please.
Thank you all very much for your time tonight. I was just wondering, on that note too, how do you determine your markup from wholesale?
Oh, that's a juicy one. So the question is, how do you determine your markup from wholesale? Lots of taxes in there. Go ahead.
Well, that's a really good question. Honestly, I feel like it's very different depending on what company you're working with. Different companies have a larger overhead, different companies have less overhead. Not to mention what county you're in and what tax rate that county is working on.
I take into account the quality of the product, and then I compare it to other product that we have on the shelf. I also take into account, like you said, what it comes in at.
we do the standard 50% markup, but then we also take into consideration what our competitors are selling it for. Our standard MO is making sure that we fall right in between. We're not the highest and we're not the lowest, but we're right in the middle of what everybody else is marking up that product.
Sweet. And I think to close, you guys, we just wanted to hear from each one of you. What is your company's mission statement, or what are you guys most passionate about right now?
I guess my company's statement at Green Solution is to provide the most sustainable substance as possible and provide the most healing that we can. We provide a huge number of products. We just got CBG in, and it's going to be a huge thing in the future.
Our mission statement is, hey, smoke, no, I'm like, no, every day. But no, honestly, just to, have, like I said much earlier, to be able to provide quality product to every single socioeconomic level. Everybody should be able to have access to it. I don't think just because you come from a certain tax bracket, you should have access to better stuff necessarily. I think we all should have access to it. It's here for all of us. Not for the rich, not for the privileged, for all of us. Woo!
We came from growing our own product, making our own edibles, breaking down our own stuff, to pre-regulation, to switching over just to the retail side of it. So our mission statement is making sure that you are getting the best product available at the most reasonable price available with a down-to-earth service. So our drivers are going to say your name, we're going to thank you, and we're just going to be really personal and down-to-earth.
So, and if you guys want to follow us, we're the Urban Exchange on Instagram. We have theurbanexchange.com. And we also want to say that we love Antiquity and thank them for hosting us by buying more wine. So please go enjoy yourself, grab a glass, and we'll see you guys next time.